everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask the Expert. Today we're going to go over basic maintenance for the digital pump and some basic troubleshooting. So the first piece of maintenance you'll probably need to do on your pump is lubricating your leather gasket. Now, a cadence for this is about every 9 months. If you live in a drier climate or if you don't use your pump as much, that's going to be a little bit more frequent. So just pay attention to how much pressure your pump is creating. And if you notice that it's not moving as much volume or the air isn't as strong, then that might be a good opportunity for you to add some lubrication to your gasket. Now, to do that, what you'll need is either our NFS pump blood or some Vaseline. So to access your leather gasket, first you're going to need to remove the leather strap that secures the handle into place, and then you'll need to unthread your top cap. I'll show you how to do that now. So I'll press my handle down, take off the strap, and then I'll unthread this cap. Okay, once you have it unthreaded, you can just remove the whole piston rod like this. Perfect. So now I have my leather gasket. Here, I'll move it so you can see it a little better. So this one actually looks pretty good, but you may notice that yours looks a bit dry. So that would present itself in just being a little bit lighter in color or maybe being a bit inflexible. When I touch mine here, you can see that the walls of my leather gasket move pretty well, but yours might be a bit stiff. So to return flexibility to this gasket, what I would do is put a few drops of pump blood onto the outside like this, and then I would either use my fingers to massage it into the leather gasket, or I would roll it back and forth on a hard surface just like that. And that just makes it to where the walls are really flexible and it massages the lubrication into the leather. Perfect. Now if you're doing this regularly, you may not need to remove the whole piston rod from your pump all the time. You could just put a few drops of NFS down your pump barrel and then pump 15 to 20 times. So these leather gaskets will actually last you, I see them lasting like 25 years or longer. So it's unlikely that you'll need to replace this very often or at all. But if you need to, the replacement part for this is the 731 gasket. Now, a good way to know that it's time to replace your leather gasket is if you see any severe creasing on the outer walls, or any cracks or tears in the leather gasket. So a good time to think about that is if you've already lubricated your leather gasket. If the pump still isn't moving any air, then it would be a good time to do a thorough examination. So if you examine your leather gasket and find that there are tears, or that you just need to replace it, this is how you do it. So you need to pick up a 731 leather gasket, and you'd need to fully condition this gasket. Now we have a video out there on how to do that, so I'm not going to show you here, but we will link that in the description box below. So after you have a lubricated gasket, all you'll need to do is remove your old leather gasket from the base of your piston rod. So to do that, you'll need a 6mm Allen key, and you'll see that there's a little bolt right here at the end of your piston rod. You'll just need to remove that, and you'll see that the leather gasket comes off with it. So you should have a bolt and a washer that are connected. You can see. You'll just need to take that off your old gasket, install it onto your new one, and then reinstall it onto the piston rod. Now make sure you tighten it on really well. You don't want it to fall off while you're pumping. So when it's time to put your piston rod back into your pump barrel, you really want to be careful when you're installing it not to crease the leather. So I would recommend using one of your hands to guide the leather gasket back into the pump barrel, just so that you don't get any unwanted damage to the gasket. There we go. So then I'll just thread the top cap back into place. And then we'll be good to go. So about every 3 to 5 years, you may want to consider replacing your chuck gasket. This is a wearable part, and you may start to notice that even after you've tightened the preload all the way on your chuck, that it's not creating as good of a seal as you may remember it having done. So this chuck, the Hero chuck, takes the 254 gasket, which you can pick up from us or your local bike shop. To install this, all you need to do is unthread your chuck's cap, remove the old gasket, and then install your new one. Then you'll just thread the cap back on, and you'll be good to go. Something to remember though is if you've used this chuck for 3 to 5 years, you may be used to using it with the preload as tight as it'll go. So just keep in mind that it will probably need to be a bit looser since the gasket is new. Okay. So this pump takes 2 CR2032 batteries. Should you need to replace these batteries, all you'll need to do is access them by unthreading this battery cap right here on the base of the gauge. I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm just going to flip my pump upside down, and I'm going to use a penny, but you just need anything flat like this, and I will just use this to unthread that little battery door right there. So once you've taken off this little battery door, you'll notice that there's a battery cartridge. You'll probably need, I can just use my nail, but you may need like a little flathead screwdriver to take that out, and then you'll see the 2 little batteries right there. So you'll just take them right there out of the cartridge, and then you'll take the new ones. Make sure that you have them so the positive ends are touching each other, and install them back into the cartridge. Then you can just set this back into the gauge and reinstall the cap. Perfect. Alright, so that's the basic maintenance for a SuperPista digital pump. Should you have anything else going on with your pump and you're having trouble with it, feel free to reach out to me directly or leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Ask the Expert. Have a good one.